Hi.
Kay Henderson with Radio
Nice to
Iowa.
see you.
Nice to see you. Are bygones here? You made some comments about precincts missing.
I couldn't
From
resist,
2020.
but look, it feels really good to be here. And the biggest memory I bring with me from my time in Iowa was how committed people are here to the future and to the country, the way people got involved, the way people took seriously that role of vetting future leaders or would-be future leaders. And this deep sense of purpose that I felt when I was here. It's why I just always feel right at home when I come back, even when it's been a minute.
Mr. Secretary, you seemed at the beginning to make a forceful case for Iowa just going first. We potentially could have 20 Democratic candidates in this next cycle. A lot of you already are well networked here, and you'll have to sort out potential sanctions and advantages if you do it. Should Iowa just dam the torpedoes and just go first? Would that be your advice?
You know, I respect that I don't have a role in that process, but what I would say is that being here made me a better candidate, a better public servant, and that process where people, whether they're a former vice president or a sitting vice president, all the way to a total unknown, have to be there in the diners and in the backyards and convince people to stand up in front of their neighbors and say why you ought to be the pick. I just think there's incredible value in that process.
Secretary Erin Murphy, Cedar Rapids Gazette. My favorite event, by the way, was interviewing you with my daughter at my side in the
yeah.
Iowa tap room
Yeah.
down here. But anyways, you were successful here by running a go everywhere, talk to everyone sort of campaign in Iowa. I know you're not here all the time, but from what you've been able to learn of the candidates that are running, especially statewide in this, do you see them doing the same thing? Do you have any? It'd be funny for an Iowan to ask a non-Iowan for
Yeah.
advice, but based on your experience here.
Well, I'll tell you a couple of things that have really impressed me. One, this go everywhere strategy. You know, it served me well when I was here. I think it's also really important at a time when our party is not in good enough touch with a lot of voters. And so seeing the links that Josh Turek will go to get to a voter's door, seeing Rob Sand doing town halls in literally every county. I still don't understand the math of why it's 100 in 99 counties. He tried to explain it to me. But that is what it's going to take, I think, for a lot of people who actually agree with us more than you would think on the substance, but we're living in this moment where a lot of Democratic policies are more popular than Democratic politicians. So that's one. The other thing I'd say is that they're deeply rooted in a sense of place and focused on what their neighbors care about, what people are going through, trying to manage the cost of living right now, trying to believe in a better future with better health and education. It's not caught up in the swirl of what commands the most attention in Washington or online. And I think that's going to serve them well, too. So it's not so much advice as what I see them doing, but it's part of why I believe they can surprise a lot of people and win statewide.
How can you measure the difference between, like for Iowa Democrats, whether 2026 is the year where they do better, where they have, over the past decade, and versus what it takes to actually win some of these marquee races? Like, how can you tell whether the climate is there for a win rather than just not as bad?
Well, one thing I'd say is that this isn't just about sort of the punditry of headwinds and tailwinds. There's also some very specific things that are going on that are clicking, I think, in a really unique way this year. And I'll give you one example. There is, I think, a widespread frustration with a sense of corruption right now and a sense that the system is broken. Now, obviously, I can give you all the reasons why I associate that most with the current occupant of the White House. But this is a bipartisan feeling. A lot of people, whichever way they vote, they're animated by that sense that just things are not fair, they are rigged, and there's a lot of reasons for people to feel that way. So when you have a candidate like Rob Sand, who is characterized not just by being somebody who's not a partisan, he's somebody who in fact speaks eloquently about the problems of the two-party system, but he's also somebody who has clear anti-corruption credentials. I mean, he has fought corruption in a very nonpartisan way and walked the walk of that. So for somebody with that credibility to run in this moment, I think is a unique fit. I'm not one for all the punditry of exactly how the numbers are going to shake out. I just see a lot of things lining up at this moment. And as I always say in my stump speeches, there's no such thing as a permanently red or blue state. I saw Indiana go blue. I definitely believe that Iowa in this moment can do it.
Mr. Secretary, Laura Belin from Bleeding Heartland, we did a telephone interview about
right.
judicial reform in 2019. You're someone who's gone on Fox News or on conservative media And you mentioned that Democrats are going to have to appeal to some people who haven't always voted for Democrats. What would be your advice, both to candidates and also just to volunteers knocking on doors, to have those conversations with people who maybe have supported Republicans in the past, but who might be open to voting for Democrats this year?
I think the key to it is that we are inviting and asking many people who voted Republican to join. We're reaching out to these, in some cases, Trump voters, precisely because we have respect for them. What we're saying is that we are prepared to show more respect for you than your president has. And same thing at the state level, that you may have voted for the people currently in power, but by their choices, they've shown that they don't deserve your vote. That doesn't automatically mean we do. We know we've got to earn it, but that's the hustle and the hard work that I'm seeing from these candidates right now.
We can do 2 more questions.
Secretary, over the past 2 years, I mean, you're kind of just the latest, big name Democrat that we've seen kind of coming through to Iowa. We just had Warren. Bashir was here last year speaking. What should people in Iowa kind of make of the presence of people like yourself coming and talking, especially on behalf of our local candidates?
I think it's a message to Iowa voters that you matter, that you can make a huge difference here, that Iowans are going to decide which Iowans will lead them, but people across the country, I think, are going to learn from what Iowa does. That's part of why I said that I think Iowa voters can challenge the rest of the country to catch up with this state, a state that shows that it thinks for itself, can sometimes over the years look like it's more strongly in one column or another, but fundamentally is about people who don't wake up in the morning thinking of themselves as Democrats or Republicans. They wake up in the morning thinking about how to get through life and take care of their families. And right now, I believe we have the better, truer answers.
One more question.
2028? 2026.
All right, thanks all.
Thanks, Erin.